Hi, my name is John Fazio, and if you're watching this video, then you are struggling with trying to get your loan modification approved with your servicer. So I want to go through the 5 most common reasons that people are denied loss mitigation relief and some tricks of the trade and what you can do in each situation. Alright, number 1. They're going to tell you that your application is incomplete. This is far and away the most common reason for denial. Incomplete applications most frequently occur if you're missing your bank statements or pay stubs. Those are the 2 things that people don't tend to, collect and have handy, and they may not send a full set in. So with pay stubs, it's easy. You go to your HR department where you work, and you get those. And you may have to go down there in person. In some companies, if you're missing the old ones and you don't have the ability to log into your payroll provider and just pull them offline. Bank statements, most commonly you need more of them because they are running between like the 15th of the month and the 15th of the month. And so you want to go overkill. You want to get an extra month or 2 going back. One of the things that we found really helps when you have what they're calling incomplete package is if you make sure that you have the loan number and date that the package was sent on each and every page, and then what you do is when you resend new information in, typically somebody didn't upload some of the pieces of your prior application, and so if they don't have those pieces and you only send them the ones that they're missing, they then say, oh, you have to resend the old ones that you didn't send in before because they're now more than 60 days past due. We need fresh information. And this can just go on and on and on. So when you resend the new information, send it with a cover letter and attach the full package that you sent last time to it. And that will give you the greatest chances of success on getting through the incomplete application and getting your application marked complete. All right, number 2, the bank will, or the servicer, will tell you that you can't afford even a modified payment. This is usually because when they input into their data entry system to send to underwriting the information you've provided, they missed some of the income. If you truly couldn't afford a modified payment, then how were you paying it to begin with? And why is it that you think that you're able to modify your loan today? There's a disconnect between what you're thinking and what the bank is thinking. So you know your finances best, and the bank is probably wrong, but you have to tell the servicer what income they haven't included. Sometimes when you call them up and you talk to them about it, what you find out is that you have additional income from some kind of source, like rental income is one, or a contributor in the household, and you're going to need a letter or you're going to need some other additional backup that they didn't have, so that when they looked at that income, they just didn't include it. So there's a common problem with that that's easily fixed by these what we call explanation letters that say, okay, here's what this income is, here's backup, like in the case of a rental it would be the lease and it would be proof of those payments coming in. If you're dealing with cash, you got to stop because you're not going to get anywhere with the bank proving out cash. The third most common problem that causes loss mitigation to be denied is that the servicer will say that there's no hardship demonstrated. So the servicer looks at loss of a job or medical emergency as hardships that they recognize. However, if you're self-employed and you had a downturn in your income because you're a truck driver and you had less routes due to COVID or more routes due to COVID, but you weren't making as much money in profit because of higher gas prices, those are the kind of hardships that may not fit in the traditional criteria. So you may need to do additional explanation letters to prove those out. All right, 4th one, and this one is one that I really dislike, is they're going to tell you this catch-all phrase that the investor guidelines do not allow them to provide you with any home retention option. It's always a mystery what that means because you don't have the investor guidelines. So in discovery, if you're in litigation, you've hired a lawyer, you're going to work really hard to find out what those investor guidelines are and utilize the judge to push the other side to give them to you because you can't hit a target that you can't see. So you need to know what the limitations are and what kind of a loan modification they can approve. All right, last but not least is number 5, prior modification. A lot of servicers will tell you that there are investor guidelines, going back to the last point, that prohibit them from making loan modifications to people who had a prior one and they didn't follow through and keep making the payments, but actually ended up defaulting on them. Some federal programs like the FHA and the FlexMod program do have limitations for people who've had a prior modification within a certain period of time. So you got to look out for that one. But if you're dealing with a private lender or a servicer that's not utilizing a federal program to give you the modification, which is most often the case, what you want to do there is send in an RFI, request for information, under RESPA, or a qualified written request under RESPA to get all of the information about the loan and the programs that your servicer participates in. Hope that helps. If we can be of any assistance in helping you to get through the gridlock when you are facing a loss mitigation denial, please give us a call at 201-529-8024. And if you have any questions at all, we'd be happy to answer them for you and walk you through all of your options. Thanks again.